The avoidant X. Understanding their delayed regret timeline. Avoidant attachment creates one of the most emotionally unpredictable breakup timelines. Unlike more secure or anxious attachment styles, avoidants tend to experience regret, if at all, on a delayed, inconsistent, and often emotionally detached schedule. The common expectation that someone will realize what they lost shortly after a breakup rarely applies here. In this article, we'll walk through the detailed emotional arc of an avoidant X from day 1 to year 7, and explain why they may never return, not because they didn't care, but because they're psychologically wired to suppress, delay, or intellectualize regret. This is not about giving false hope. It's about clarity, so you can heal on your terms, not on their timeline. 0 to 30 days, the deactivation euphoria relief. Without regret. Immediately after the breakup, avoidants often experience what psychologists call deactivation. This is when their nervous system relaxes, because the emotional pressure of intimacy is lifted. Days 1 to 7. They may appear emotionally detached, unusually calm, or even happy. This is not because they didn't care, but because your emotional closeness activated deep-seated fears of engulfment. Now that you're gone, their system interprets this as safety. Days 8 to 21. They reconnect with friends, hobbies, and independence. There's often a temporary honeymoon with freedom. They aren't mourning the loss of you. They're celebrating the loss of perceived emotional threat. 3. Days 22 to 30. Subtle cracks may form in the narrative, but these are rarely about you. It's more about missing small conveniences, your cooking, your care, your structure, not your emotional presence. For some avoidants, this relief phase can last 3 to 6 months, especially if they stay distracted, avoid triggers, or enter new relationships. 1 to 6 months, doubt creeps in, but not regret yet. During this phase, the rush of independence begins to wear off. But rather than sadness, they first experience doubt, an intellectual questioning of whether they made the right choice. 1. 30 to 90 days. This is the first emotional test. Life is settling back into routine, and they start to notice your absence, not emotionally, but functionally. They miss your reliability, support, and how you managed parts of their life they took for granted. 2 months 2 to 3. Many avoidants try to replace you through dating apps, casual partners, or new social circles. This is not about moving on with joy. It's about testing whether someone else can give them the benefits you provided without the emotional demands. 3 months 3 to 4. They begin to compare, often finding that new partners can't match your emotional balance. However, this recognition remains intellectual. They admire your qualities but still can't connect it to their own emotional limitations. 4 months 4 to 6. Their trajectory diverges here. If life is good, career, health, social life, they double down on independence. If life becomes stressful or lonely, the first emotional Discomfort may arise. Still, this is not yet true regret, it's early questioning. 6 to 18 months, the phantom partner syndrome regret. With comparison, this phase represents the peak window for genuine avoidant regret, but it still unfolds slowly and indirectly. Months 6 to 9. They attempt serious relationships often, pushed by loneliness or social pressure. But now the comparisons deepen. They notice that others don't provide your emotional safety without triggering their avoidant defenses. Months 9 to 12. They realize that your rare combination of emotional availability plus tolerance for their detachment is hard to find. And for the first time, regret starts to feel emotional, not just logical. Months 12 to 18. Life events, job stress, family illness, major transitions highlight their aloneness. Your emotional support is no longer just a memory. It becomes a felt absence. This period is the emotional fork in the road. Some avoidants begin true inner work, therapy, introspection, rebuilding attachment capacity. Others retreat further, interpreting regret as proof that relationships are too risky. Their emotional wiring determines whether regret leads to growth or deeper avoidance. 18 months, 3 years. The reality check phase. Regret meets opportunity. This is the phase of self-confrontation. They now fully grasp what they lost, but are faced with an uncomfortable truth. Can they love any better? Months 18 to 24. Seeing you thrive, date again, or grow without them can hit hard. Regret intensifies, especially if they feel left behind emotionally or professionally. Months 20 to 30. This is what therapists call the growth ultimatum. The regret isn't about just losing you, it's about what that loss reveals about their inability to love or connect. Months 30 to 36. If deep emotional work has occurred, they may reach out, but only rarely. True reconnection is only likely if they've done real therapeutic work. They're not just lonely but emotionally changed. Their behaviors, not just words, reflect a sustained shift in attachment style. 3+ years, acceptance or disappearance of regret. By year 3, avoidant regret either matures into wisdom or fades into denial. Years 3 to 5. They construct a story about the relationship. Some admit they failed to reciprocate love and carry that awareness into future relationships. Others rationalize the breakup as necessary and emotionally distance from the past. Years 4 to 7. For avoidants who truly changed, this may be the last window for meaningful reconnection, but such transformation is extremely rare without consistent effort and therapy. Beyond 7 years, regret either becomes integrated wisdom, used to form healthier relationships. Emotional noise, a dull ache that doesn't lead to action. Or it vanishes. They fully assimilate their story and move on. Factors that shape the regret timeline. Avoidant regret isn't predictable, but it is influenced by several key variables. Your role in the relationship, If you were supportive, non-pushy, and emotionally generous, they're more likely to miss you. If there was frequent conflict or pressure to change, they're more likely to feel relief. Their attachment trauma severity. Deep childhood neglect equals less likely to feel or process regret. Milder attachment wounds equals greater potential for emotional growth and reflection. Support system. A strong social circle can delay or mask regret. Isolation accelerates the realization of what they lost. Their success in replacing you. If they find a partner who meets their needs. Without emotional intimacy, regret may never come. If replacements fail to match your presence, regret builds slowly. Life stress and timing. Personal crises, health scares, loss, failures often catalyze emotional clarity. Success or distraction delays self-reflection and regret. Final truth: not all avoidants come back. And that's okay. Many people spend years waiting for someone who is psychologically unequipped to experience love as we know it, let alone process regret in a way that leads to reconnection. Some avoidants do grow. Others just learn to live without. Regret is not the same as return. And return is not the same as emotional readiness. Your healing comes from understanding the truth, not waiting for it to show up in someone else's timing. Key takeaway: avoidant regret, if it happens, follows a delayed and fragile path. Understanding this doesn't guarantee closure, but it gives you power, the power to stop personalizing their silence and start focusing on your own growth. Let go of the timeline. Reclaim your peace. You deserve love that doesn't flinch from closeness.